Hello, welcome along everyone again. It's Kerry Griffiths, the Divorce Financial Planner and Willow Brook Lifestyle Financial Planning. Delighted to have you with us today, and I have got a guest with me, Laura Naser, and she is going to talk to us about all the key things that you need to know when you're researching finding a family lawyer. So if you haven't come across Laura so far, then you are really missing out, because Laura is amazing. So I was going to read out all of Laura's credentials, but I can't. It will take up the whole video because she's had that many awards and recognitions. So I just want to highlight a couple of key things. The most recent, I suppose, recognition she's had is Spears Magazine recognising her as a rising star in 2020. She is also an author of the Family Lawyer's Guide to Separation and Divorce, and you can follow along with her on Instagram as @thefamilylawyer, which is where I follow her. So I'm just going to ask you just to tell us a little bit about yourself, Laura, and your background, if that's okay. Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm a family lawyer. I work at a firm called Penningtons Manches Cooper, which is a top 50 law firm. I'm based in Surrey, but we have offices everywhere. And in the current climate, my clients are spread across the nation, and it makes no difference anyway, because we're all on Zoom, aren't we now? And it's great. What else can I tell you about me? Yes, I've written a book. I've got a copy of it here. I can show you, can't I?
Let's see.
I wrote a book that came out in December. It's published by Penguin, and it's doing really well. It's the idea of the book is to feel like an initial meeting with me. So if you want that kind of, is this what I want? How does it work? How might my financial separation be dealt with by the courts? It's all in there. It's that initial trigger questions that you want to address, and you can read them all at your own pace and time, and read the chapters that are applicable to you, or go straight to the bits that are worrying you first. I also cover children's disputes and unmarried couples, so it's a go-to one shop for anyone with a family law issue. I also, what else? As you say, I do my Instagram, and that's been really hugely successful. I try and just break down barriers and make it clear to people that us family lawyers are not scary, archaic people in a profession that we all wear wigs and gowns. We're not. We're approachable. You can reach out. We're human, and I use it really to just answer those questions that people are worried about. Google as a lawyer is not reliable, but I appreciate that people go to the internet to access information. So it's a platform for that, really, and for people to see what I'm like and find out more about what family lawyers actually do.
I love that, Laura, and I think you're absolutely right, because the more knowledge people have, the less apprehensive they're going to be, because for most women this is an experience that they potentially never had. You know, this opportunity to get that knowledge beforehand can help them feel prepared and less nervous and more on the front foot. So that's really the aim of this YouTube video today, is to give them and arm them with a little bit more information. So what I've asked you to do specifically, Laura, is to help us think about what we should be considering before picking a family lawyer. So do you want to kick off with that and tell us what you think the key considerations are?
Yeah, so family law covers quite a big breadth of issues. So if you want a family lawyer for divorce, not all family lawyers, maybe that might not be their specialism. So really make sure that you're marrying up your family lawyer with your issue. So, you know, I don't do care proceedings, so children that are being with the local authority involvement. I don't deal with that. So, you know, I would be the wrong lawyer for that particular issue. So make sure you do your research. But it's really difficult. People always say to me, I just don't know where to start. Personal recommendations tend to be quite a good starting place. So if you've got a friend, a relative, or a friend of a friend who's gone through a divorce and they've used a particular firm or person, that can be quite a good starting place, but I don't think that then means you must go with them. It's a good starting place of looking at their profile on the internet. All law firms have web pages, Googling them, finding out about what their specialisms are, getting the right person to meet your personality and your wants. You know, so often I have clients say to me, because of the media, and it makes divorce sound like it's super litigious. People come to me and say, I don't want that. I want to be amicable. And obviously, because of my book and it being aimed at how to be amicable throughout this, I have a lot of people come to me specifically for that. And it's finding that right personality match and that right approach to family law that you want. You might not know what you want. You might just know that you want to get through this process, but you don't even know at that point what it entails. So really, then it will come down to how comfortable and confident you feel in them. So I always say to people, try and just pick up the phone and speak with that potential lawyer. I always have, like half an hour chats on the phone to people, but without charge, just so that we can talk through what their main concerns are. I understand what the issues that they need addressing are, and just to have a feel for each other and where that case might go. It helps you not just know that they're friendly and that you can get along with them, and a lot of your family lawyer experience will be at times quite intense. You can go through patches of speaking every day, emailing throughout the day. You need to get on with them, but also to know that they've got the right expertise. It's not enough to just say they do children's work. You need to know that they've had recent experience. So quite a lot of cases at the moment, the highly litigious children's cases, are involving parental alienation. Has that lawyer had a case where that has been involved? So really just drilling down with the right expertise and the right personality, but then also the right level of experience. So lawyers are expensive. That's one of everyone's major concerns. I would be concerned about it if I were going through it. How much is this going to cost? And lawyers tend to charge on what's called a time spent basis for the majority of work. Some law firms do fixed fees for the divorce, but then they'll charge on a time spent basis for resolving the financial separation, which is different. And so we charge on hourly rates. Hourly rates tend to be allocated based on your level of experience. So how many years qualification are you? How experienced are you in family law? And obviously the more experienced, the higher the hourly rate is likely to be. Not every case will warrant a highly experienced partner. Really, you want someone, depending on how complex your case is. Have you got complex asset structures? Have you got any international elements? Is it highly litigious? Sometimes people say, well, they've got a partner, so I want a partner. Just because you feel like you want to have equal arms. But it's not always appropriate. And be led by the lawyer on that. I'm always saying to people, like, you don't need me. I'll do an initial meeting and I can give you my view on this. But then I think one of my junior associates can assist you at their lower hourly rate. So it's making sure that you've got the right level of experience for your needs. And that's difficult as a layperson. That's, how do I know? So it's doing your homework, reaching out, getting a feel for the person, listening to recommendations, but a recommendation isn't the be all and end all. No two cases are the same. Your issues may not be exactly the same. What happened to them may not happen to you. Well, it's highly unlikely that what happened to them will happen to you. So, just bear it all in the round.
Laura, do you think now that we have got used to using Zoom and that geography has stopped being a barrier, that might open up some opportunities for people who aren't based in Surrey or London? Do you see that happening?
It definitely has for me. Because of my Instagram profile, I purposely don't say that I am in one location, because I am very available to anyone wherever they are. And so I have clients across England and Wales, but I also have international clients because of my Instagram profile. And that's fine. I was hosting video meetings with clients before lockdown. And actually lockdown's helped with that. Our systems are now much quicker in dealing with ID checks and things, which, we have to do as lawyers to confirm that our clients are who they say they are. But we can do all of that. And I think really the location of your lawyer is not as necessary as making sure they're the right experience and the right personality match. One of the things that clients do say a lot is, well, my spouse or my partner or ex-partner have got this lawyer, and if I go to a lawyer in the same locality, then those lawyers are likely to know each other, and therefore they will get on and be more amicable, and they'll be able to resolve our case better because they know each other. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on your case and how amicable your case is. But just because I don't know someone personally doesn't mean I can't pick up the phone, have a lovely chat with them, and try and resolve things amicably anyway. So I'm not too persuaded by that point, but I appreciate that is something that people do think about.
Okay, that's really useful to know. Are there any key questions you think a client should be asking of their family lawyer right up front?
Well, it's definitely got to be, you know, knowing what the issues they perceive their case to have. It's definitely got to be, have you had recent experience in that? Costs. Everyone is worried about costs. And asking, you know, how much do you think this is going to cost? You know, if I were to be amicable, what would this be? If it's more contentious, what will this be? All lawyers will give cost estimates. It's difficult at this outset of a case to really accurately estimate how much costs will be, because you just don't know if more issues will come up, or if it is going to be highly litigious. And also, if your opposing partner, spouse is a litigant person, that can increase costs. So there's lots of variables, but it's definitely something to ask about and have a good understanding. I think the ones who are slightly more perceived as more expensive may be just more accurate. So don't be put off by someone if they seem like actually their cost estimate is huge compared to someone else who may have underestimated or may be less experienced and therefore not as able to accurately anticipate how your case will be resolved and the costs. One of the things I always say to clients ahead of a meeting with me is to have a think about what they know of their finances. So come to the meeting already having that information as much as you can to hand. So, you know, even if it's just scrawling it down on a piece of paper, what do I have in my sole name? What do I think we have together in our joint names? What do I think my spouse or my ex-partner may have in their sole name? And chronology of the relationship. So when you met, when you started living together, when you married, if you did, when you started to have children, if you did, any time that you've had significant wealth come in, so a bonus, inheritance, a gift. Those aren't questions necessarily to ask of your lawyer, but they're things to have to yourself ready for a meeting with a lawyer. It's great in a meeting. Yes, it makes it so much more efficient, and I can then more accurately understand your case the more information I have. And it makes things I think more real, because you're not just talking about hypotheticals, you can drill into the detail. Other questions to ask really will be, well, how would you resolve this? Because some lawyers are, I think, more inclined to say, well, you know, mediation doesn't work, let's just go to court. And that might not be for you. That might be right up your street. So talk to them about how they work and what their processes are. You know, if someone says to me, I want you to go in and be a bulldozer and I want to railroad this, that's not my style.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many family lawyer styles nowadays, but there are still some out there that are very litigious. So talking about that, how can we see this progressing?
And Laura, are you part of resolution, and is that something that you would discuss with your clients as well?
Yes, I am a member of Resolution. So Resolution obviously is where we have an organisation and family law professionals. So it's not just lawyers, it's mediators, it can be counsellors, we can all sign up. And there's a code of conduct. And the focus is very much at putting children at the forefront of a dispute and being amicable and trying to resolve this in a way that is as anti-inflammatory as possible and swiftly, because it's so stressful the longer things drag on. And I very much will talk to a client about that being my way of dealing with a case. I would say the majority of family lawyers and family law professionals are members of Resolution now, but it is something I'll also say to a client, look, if your spouse or partner are looking for a lawyer themselves, go to the Resolution website, use that as a resource for locating a lawyer. That is something that, is a great grounding if a lawyer is signed up to Resolution.
And other professionals as well. I'm a member of Resolution, and like you say, mediators, and it's just a great way of just kind of getting a better feel for what opportunities, what options are there as a client, isn't there? Who you could potentially research and work with as well. Laura, thank you. Is there anything else that you think we should add before we close today? Anything else that we really need to talk about on this subject?
No, but I think, people do always underestimate either how long their case will take to unravel or the costs. So I think it is about being realistic with your own expectations, as well as, asking difficult questions. Don't be afraid. We're human. We get this. We understand. And don't be put off. It's a bit like if you go to the doctor and you don't always want to say the awkward things, but do put it out there. Your lawyer will understand and will be more than happy to answer any questions you have. And if they're not, then there would be a red flag. But the majority of us we're open, we're honest, we're here to help, and we want the best for our clients.
Amazing. Thank you, Laura. That's definitely been my experience. I think there is a misunderstanding about working with lawyers, and as soon as you find family lawyers, you do get that feeling of them just having that empathy and that ability to really work with you during so much trauma. So yeah, do your research, guys. I hope that was really useful. Thank you, Laura. Laura, I know we've talked about your Instagram account, so people can follow along with you there. I'm also going to put your links in the YouTube description, so that people can find out a little bit more and look at your website and things there as well. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.